boy, Maverick. We're here to talk about the full moon in Aries this 2024. Are you ready for the revelations that are going to start coming through? Are you truly prepared for the innovation that you didn't even know that you had within you? Are you ready to rumble? Because with this full moon in Aries, we're going to be entering into a really different phase of things. We just exited eclipse season. Let's get everybody who is in here right now. See a few of y'all over there. I think I'm live, so we should be good. What up, what up, what up? So just to let y'all know, hi, I'm Chad the Maverick, for those of y'all who might be new. I am a professional astrologer over the course of the last pretty much decade, and I have been working very hard to make sure that y'all get the best information available when it comes to this astrology. I do my best to do these live streams for y'all to give y'all as much information. I pull cards, and if y'all do want to come through, and there's like sometimes people like to donate, but I would at least like to do something for y'all in that process. So if you end up wanting to get a mini reading, I do have those available. They should be over in the link in the description. I'm going to be breaking down everyone's full moon in Aries for them. I'm doing this 2 days beforehand, so I can do your reading and get it to you before the full moon or on the full moon, just to let you all know. But yeah, no, I'm super excited to start to break down this information behind this Aries energy. Shout out to y'all who are all here right now. I don't see everybody fully in yet, but literally I just started this a second ago. But thank you all for being here. Thank y'all for showing up. And the last announcement that I do have, aside from obviously sign up for my newsletter, is I actually ended up adding one more reading to the arsenal, and that reading is going to be a recorded reading. So I've talked to a lot of y'all. Some of y'all are on the go. Some of y'all got kids, y'all got engagements, y'all got things to go to, and especially during the school time, etc. So I was like, I'm gonna offer a recorded reading. It's going to be a destiny reading. It's going to be me looking at your chart and centering it around destiny. I'm loosely basing this off of my other master classes that I've given to y'all as well. But let's start to get into this today, right? Full moon in Aries is happening on October 17th, right? I'm gonna light up a little bit of sage for us right now. You know, light up a little bit of sage for us, you know. Make sure that we get this, energetic stuff going. I should also put up my mic. As y'all know, I'll be excited to talk to y'all. I'll be forgetting to like do stuff like this that's important. Anyway, all that to say, what's good? What's up, Nix? What's up, Liv? What's up, Sarah? I don't want to pronounce it wrong, Sarahai. But, you know, shout out to you as well. Shout out to Mar. Shout out Tab. Queen's in the house, and Anne as well. Shout out to you, Anne. Anne's one of the first people always here, straight up. And Bonjour, what's up? What's up? So, speaking of, I did just drop the Astrology 101. Thank you so much. So this summer, this is actually a very full moon in Aries thing. So let's talk about the full moon. I'm going to explain why I gave out the Astrology 101, and then we'll keep it going from there. Excuse me. So we just finished up with eclipse season. You might be even feeling like, days are getting a little bit brighter, right? Things are getting a little bit better. Well, maybe internally, but we start looking to the outside of things, and we're looking around us, and it's like, why is everything crumbling apart, right? One thing that I noticed in terms of everything happening, especially with this big celebrity rollout, with the whole, Diddy situation and all the other BS that are going on, it's been really hard, especially for someone that works in media for the most part. It's been really hard to have to survey what's going on and the trends of what has been going on, because for the last few months, for sure, there hasn't been anything particularly positive. And I know that we're heading into this election year. I know we're heading into a lot of things, the political sphere. And I know all across the world, there's different aspects of war. There's different things as far as and even in the Congo, in terms of the technology and how people are being treated over there. There's just so much wrong that's been going on, right? And I think part of this full moon in Aries is you got to remember where you got to be at to fight for yourself. I think one of the prospects and one of the issues that we end up going into a lot of the times is that there's so much information we get hit with in a day that we're like, oh shoot, I want to do something to help. I want to do something to make a difference. I want to do something to go for it and change this thing. Or sometimes on the vice versa, and sometimes it's man, I don't have the energy to go about this myself. I don't have the resources to even start on these things. It's one of those things that kind of can feel defeating at a certain point. And to deny that is to deny self. And that's one of those situations to where sometimes, despite how much good you want to put out, things still stay a certain way, or you still have to fight a fight regardless. Like, and one thing about the full moon in Aries that I really want to break down for you is that with this end of Pluto and Capricorn that's happening, this is the fight you need to have for your own authenticity, right? Full moon in Aries is like at your core part of who you are. If no one can see what you do, if you can never get credit for the things that you do, what would you do on your own time? If you didn't have to worry about money, let's say, and you had all the assets in the world, same life you had, you just wake up tomorrow and there's $1 million in your bank account. Correction, let's make it a stupid amount. You have $50 million in your bank account. Tomorrow you wake up in the morning, right? The other 50 million that they gave you was already set up in all the other ways to make you okay for the rest of your life. Everything's paid, everything's there. You have the perfect stuff that you want. What is it that you're going to do with that? Because we talk about character with a lot of people. We talk about character all the time, especially in the spiritual space. But a lot of people never even get into certain situations for them to show their real character. And when it comes to this full moon in Aries, people's real character is going to start to come out. So the idea behind this is that if you've been living in your truth and your authenticity, and you've been trying your best to like go with the flow, learn yourself, take time for yourself, really understand what's going on, you're going to be at a place in a position of power. However, for those people who have been fighting to project a certain image, or they've been trying to project a certain something, and it's not real to them, and it's not truly who they are, these people are going to start being pointed at. Like, yo, that's not what you really think about this, right? That's not what's really going on with you. So this is an interesting dichotomy, because during eclipse season, a lot of the back end of things were going on, right? During eclipse season, we had to deal with this recent new moon in Libra on the solar eclipse. And I forgot to mention to y'all beforehand, shout out to Mike for reminding me when I was watching this video earlier, but he ended up saying that I forgot that Lilith was on this moon, right? Hold on, let me continue and then I'll look at the chat. But I was like, I forgot that Lilith was on this moon that was in Libra, right? But it was so embedded in that. And I typically, honestly, do my best to work with Lilith energies in general. So I think for me, it was like kind of like a natural thing, so to speak. But what happened was there's this new call. And I don't know if y'all have been noticing this, right? But in the news and everything else, so many things in the last bit has been sexualized, or vice versa. There's been a lot of people coming out about things that have happened on a bad note. Look at the Hernandez brothers, for an example, right? They've been big in the news in the last bit, and they had to, if your metro don't trust you, their own parents, because they did terrible stuff. You get what I'm saying? The idea when it gets to this whole entire situation is like, there's so much bad being unraveled. There's so much of, honestly, the divine feminine and in general, just the protection and justice of people have been starting to come up in different ways. And this doesn't sit well with the Pluto and Capricorn paradigm that we were just living in. This doesn't make sense to the Pluto and Capricorn paradigm we were just in since 2008. Because in 2008, 2007, 2008, that time frame, we just got into this digital age for real. Like, we just really started to like get into having cell phones in our hands in 2007. Like, this is stupidly new. You know what I'm saying? And even since then, for people who are born in the Pluto and Capricorn generation, especially if you have Neptune and Capricorn and a few other things, we're the first real generation who's lived part of their world on the internet. Beforehand, there wasn't that. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a new paradigm. And now you can't go and pick up something that doesn't have AI in it. You get what I'm saying? Like, we are at a different level. Before, people were happy to have Siri. Like hold on. Let me look up when Siri first popped up. Let me see real quick. I'm curious. Because, like, this is the kind of thing that I want to point out in terms of this, because this is what's been going on. Siri first got released in 2011, right? So even when this first shifted over, it was 3 years into this big shift that we had Siri. And what was Siri really referred to as? It was supposed to be the personal assistant on your phone. Doesn't that sound pretty Pluto and Capricorn? And now we're getting into this age of Aquarius. And now people are having all types of different uses for technology and more in this process. And I know I talk about tech a lot. I know I'm a dork, but I'm explaining this because like, this is also in conjunction to how things are moving. And you want to know what's funny? A lot of people who are spiritual are very against technological things. Now, granted, I get it, because on one end, we get taught the soul is the most important thing. Some people think that technology is a marketed beast, but honestly, there's no monsters, there's no ghouls, there's no zombies aside from the people and what energies they choose to use in their life and their world. So if we're going to be real about it, let's be real about it. Because in terms of this, it's not tech that does these things. It's people. It's not like this one thing that's happening. It's the people that are doing the things behind it, right? And we can sit there and blame this, and we can sit there and blame that. But at the end of the day, it's the person that's behind those things that are doing those actions, right? So to kind of bridge into this for a hot second, and I still see the chat. I appreciate y'all. Please keep throwing some stuff up so then I can like get y'all all through as much as I can, because I'm about to be on a roll in a second. I feel it coming. But with this full moon in Aries, it's like, who are you, right? Like for me personally, the reason why it's so interesting, and for people who are Gen Z or like early Gen Z, you might be getting this too. Like for Pluto and Capricorn, I think when Pluto went into Capricorn, I made my first MySpace, right? And so to think about like me making my first MySpace, it was like CTZ75. It was me just sitting here in front of a globe. If I could find a picture, I'll show y'all actually, because like that it's kind of legendary. I ain't gonna lie. But let me see if I can find it. But ooh, okay. But the whole idea behind this full moon in Aries is like, we are so tired as a collective of the hoopla. We are so tired as a collective of all the BS and what people were saying, right? And so the idea behind this, and I'm actually pulling up the picture right now because I want you to get an example visibly of the difference between Pluto and Capricorn to Pluto and Aquarius. And you're going to see it so much because everything that's even happening here, I think at the time when someone took this picture even, it was like rare to have this. Let me see. I do not want to search. No, why are they all being weird? See, I even try to put a picture in, and then they start being weird. 1 second. Let me open this up. I think this is it. I could be wrong. Bang. There we go. So like even right here, look at this. Look at this guy. This is the beginning of Pluto and Capricorn, right? And I want to explain this to you because 1, I'm adorable. 2, I've always been like this. And 3, which is very full moon in Aries. But 3, like this is the little version of me at the beginning of 2008 that was like, what if I just decided to do my own thing? Because my whole point of this is that everybody, when we were in the, when in this class at this time frame, it was a history class, because everybody was supposed to sit there and point out where they were from, where they were coming from, etc. So people were like, oh, I'm pointing this out on the map, or like, oh, this, that, and the third. And I remember so specifically, I was like, you want to know what? Screw all that. And I rule the ocean. Like, screw that. I don't even want your land. Give me the ocean. Because I knew the ocean was most of the world, right? But the idea behind even showing this, we're just getting out of Pluto in Capricorn. We're getting into Pluto and Aquarius. Now, I know this is about the full moon in Aries, but let me wrap this together, right? Even, very 201's facts. But like, even then, the reason why I think like the people resonate to my work is because it's like, I'm an Aries rising. So it's like, I've always kind of had this core part to things, right? This is a deep cut. This is when I was like, what, 12? You know what I'm saying? But mind you, look at the technology of the times and look to this difference, right? Because at that time, this was the best that we could have done. Like, I need you to point this out. Because at that time, we're looking at this. This was the image quality, right? This is why I'm so obsessed with this kind of stuff, because it's real. This is the best we could have got. This is now what people can film movies on in comparison to beforehand. And so the reason why this is so important, and as I'm explaining all this, is because you want to know why y'all rock with me? Because to this day, I'm still living that little kid's dream. And that's the most Aries thing that I can explain to you, right? Why? Because the whole purpose behind my goal was like, I want to do whatever I am doing and not compromise on being myself. Sometimes I'm a little nicer in certain spaces. Sometimes my kindness can get ahead of me in certain cases, right? Sometimes I can be a jerk. Sometimes I can be an absolute douche. Like, and I'm not afraid of whatever comes out, because I'm gonna be honest about it. I'm gonna be real about it. That's just what that is. Now, when you're hearing this authenticity, I need you to also recognize that it took from there to now to get to this space. And even in terms of that, I'm not all the way there yet. I'm still scared to make YouTube videos. And here I am on a YouTube live. But for me to make a video where I'm stopped and whatever, oh my God, like, that's a whole different thing. This full moon Aries, though, is trying to ask you of bravery. It wants you to be brave. It wants you to remember that childhood dream. It wants you to look back at the beginning of Pluto and Capricorn and see where you are, how much the world has changed since then, right? Because there's been such a difference in the early days where I dropped my first MySpace picture and I was hyped to have like my crush on one of my top things at the time, right? To now to where it's like, oh shoot, you having like there's so much change. Like, it's so hard to explain, but I know y'all are feeling where I'm coming from. And so even if we're talking about just astrology alone, I've been studying literally since then. Like, at that point, like, I knew what astrology was. When Obama got elected president, I knew what his big three was. Like, I was on it. But like from that point into now, I've even watched the world change. And for those who are older who watch me, like, shout out to Anna here. I know, shout out to the elders who rock with me too, because like I really do try to make sure that we can hit every generation, every background, one of my stuff. Like, I do my best to try to make sure everyone gets involved, right? But like, this is a deep cut. You've been like, Gina said she feels like she's been through it since '08, because as a collective, we all had to watch the destruction, the toppling over of every power structure that we thought was supposed to be the most important, right? When 2008 began, this was really like the call to fame. Y'all remember American Idol? Actually, let's go. 1 second. Let me look this up right quick. American Idol, when did it start? I still got y'all in the comments. Y'all know I'm cooking. No, not now. Right. But American Idol aired from 2002 to 2016. When did it get most popular? 1 second. Was it? This is what I do all day, by the way. When was it most popular? It was around 2003 to 2011. American Idol was the most popular thing in the world. And what was the premise of that? Well, you could be from the middle of nowhere. You could be an absolute quote unquote nobody, right? But appreciate y'all. But like, when it got to this popping stages, I believe it was like around when Pluto and Capricorn came through, because that was when American Idol got so solidified that they almost kind of guaranteed a record deal afterward. And I want you to pay attention to this record deal, right? Oh, shoot, you did all this work. You won the contest. Here's this record deal. Where are a lot of those artists now? So at the time frame where everyone was trying to say, hey, here's how you build this up, a lot of people got looped in bad contracts. A lot of people got looped in like other BS, and where they thought they were doing this thing to reach the highest part of what it is that they love, they weren't. They were being used. It was like a different underneath thing, right? I talked about this briefly on one of my streams recently, right? When I first was thinking about the whole situation with like, actually, let me see if I can find that shit, because that's kind of important too. Because like, man, I don't gotta prove this shit. Anyway, I'm like, what am I doing? I was gonna tell you what it is. But basically, and when I first moved out to California, right? When I first got out here, I came out here to do music originally. Music and photography. Speaking of, if anybody wants to get the camera that got me to 20K followers on Instagram, please let me know. I am selling it, not because it's bad, but because I just use this all the time and I like to master one thing at a time. So if anyone is looking to get their true start in this content creation, I do got some good juju on this. You know what I'm saying? I have some dope stuff. I don't mind sending you any of the different portfolio stuff I've done. You just let me know. This is something that I just came across recently, and I need to get it to somebody who's going to use it, because that would mean a lot to me. Anyway, to continue this going forward, the whole concept of when I first got out here, I was told, hey, you should go to this job fair, right? And this is what I mean by the trust in things that were supposed to be established power structures, right? Let me explain. So when I first moved out here, they're like, oh, you need to get in, because as a producer, they're like, oh, you need to meet more people. You should go to this thing. Actually, there's an event. And so there was an event. It was called Revolt. There was a Revolt event. It was what was it? It was like a job fair. There was a bunch of different celebrities there. Like I saw SZA there. I saw Vince Staples, James Fauntleroy, some other people. I did see SZA though. Hi SZA, if you're watching this. I know you're an astrologer too, you know what I'm saying? How you doing? Anyway, but outside of that, the concept is we're at that whole place. And the whole time I'm watching things happen, and I kind of really was accepting my spirituality at that point. And I felt stupidly uncomfortable. Like, as a matter of fact, the Aries, quote unquote, instinct that exists in all of us was like, there's something off here. Like, I don't know what's going on. But you know, when you get kind of on edge and everyone's around, you might be like, oh, it's completely fine. You're like, nah, there's something weird. That's that Aries instinct. And just to let y'all know, that's going to be starting to come out during this full moon, no matter what sign you are. That type of instinctual, like, no, I know what this is. Even if you can't explain it, that's the Aries principle. And when you're acting into that instinct, that's when you kind of let, I would even say like God, the universe, etc., like move you forward with what you know is right. A lot of people just call it that, following your intuition, right? Back in the day when people like lived out in the woods and stuff like that, that would be the same concept that would keep you surviving and alive, right? Anyway, I'm inside of this event and I meet someone there who actually won this contest. And so when they won this contest, he was one of the first people I met there. So we, you know, when you meet somebody at the first thing for the first time, so we were both black too. So especially I was just like, oh, it's good. Da, 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 da. Like, oh, I see you, brother. I want to be like, you know, all that stuff. If you know, you know. But basically, he won the contest. And when he won the contest, he was like, yo, I just got invited to the after party, bro. All the celebrities are going to be there. Like, Diddy's going to be there since this is his event, bro. I'm hype. You want to pull through? They said I could ask a couple people to come with me. And I looked around at everything and I really sat and thought about it. And I was like, I'm good, bro. And they're like, oh, you sure? What do you mean? I was like, I'm good. They're like, but they have all the other stuff. Mind you, I'm at a job fair and they're passing out alcohol and they pouring shots on people like we in the middle of a club. I'm like, this is supposed to be a job fair. I'm like, man, LA really moved different. Now, granted, sometimes they do, you know what I'm saying? But why this is important is because when he asked me that thing, everything I ever been taught in terms of opportunity, you having to make a sacrifice, you having to go to the thing that everyone's telling you have to go to, I did the opposite of. And where I could have gone to that next thing and maybe things would have been fine. But as we're hearing about all these things with these different celebrities, and we have Jay-Z and Beyonce losing millions of followers at a time, right? This is really the end of that celebrity culture and that false, quote unquote, idolization in a lot of cases, right? So why this is so important with this full moon in Aries and why I'm bringing up this story is because if I didn't choose based off of my instinct and based off of everything else you did, yeah, Mar, I'm actually serious. Like, that's why I'm like, I'm serious right now. Like, I got this. I have a okay. Gina asked something important. Did you ever second decision to not go in a moment? No. And this is what's important. And this is why I want to point this out into all of you. So she asked did I second guess myself? And the answer was no. And I think for me, it was so weird because I had just kind of come into my spiritual understanding that like, yo, I'm an astrologer. Yo, I know how to do this stuff. Like, oh, this stuff is real. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't second guess it. But everyone else in front of me was second guessing it. Like, you should go. Like, you should this. I remember I told the person who I was living with at the time, and they're like, you didn't go? And I was like, no, I have work the next day. Sorry, I have to go to work. I got a job I really wanted to get. They're like, well, what's the job? I was like, oh, I'm about to work at a crystal shop. where I introduce myself as an astrologer, and they want me to start working on some astrology stuff. So I'm going to get really good in between time to make sure all my stuff's together so I can start teaching astrology classes. That was in 2019. I'm telling y'all this, not to be on some like whatever horse. That's never the point of what I'm explaining. Unless it is the point, then I'll let you know. But genuinely speaking, the reason why I'm explaining this is because, like, even let's say with Pluto and Capricorn, the height of was, oh, I'm around these celebrities. Even for those of y'all who know, would you rather have dinner with Jay-Z or just get some money in the Santa Third? And everybody on Twitter back in the day was like, I would pick dinner with Jay-Z because you're going to get a lot of information and blah, 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 blah. It's like, for all you know, he going to sit down with you and not eat nothing. Right. And this is like, and I'm a fan of his music, unfortunately. So it's like one of those situations to where it's like, when we really get into the nitty gritty, the reason why the path kind of goes the proper way is when you trust in what you're feeling versus what everyone else is trying to tell you to do, right? Maybe this is the Aries part of me, but I want to just give you this part so you can understand. Like, a lot of the success that I've had hasn't necessarily been from what people tell me to do. It's from me just following my own lead based off of this, which brings me to the other point that I had, which Ann mentioned earlier. I dropped my astrology 101 for free. For those of y'all who went to the original one, I appreciate you. And for those of y'all who invested in the original one, I appreciate you. And I have something special coming up for you as soon as that starts to come through. So don't think I forget about y'all. But I put it out for free because when I really thought about it, that was in a culmination of a lot of information that I come across since literally that picture I showed you earlier. For those of y'all who are just popping in, for the picture that I showed y'all earlier, oops, that's the wrong thing, but that's okay. Here we go. So the picture I showed y'all earlier to now, this is that transformation. But at the core part of all the things is where that power of self comes from. And so that kid before that you saw is not the same man I am now, but it's the same heart that got to push forward. Since from now and then, I've experienced so many heartbreaks between friends, relationships, family, people that I just know, care for, people that I thought were always going to be in my life and shit. Like, I've gone through it in certain cases, but on the other side of things, I've made sure people feel seen. I end up going through and I like read people's charts for a living. I'm doing the things that I set out to do. I said no to being in a place that everything that everyone ever told me was supposed to be the best thing in the world for me. And I said no because it felt wrong. And I'm not telling you this to flex. I'm telling you this, that you have this same instinct, but how much of the hoopla can you take away so you can actually do the stuff that you know you're supposed to, right? A lot of the times when people do come to me and they get different readings, like, I'm here to extract you out of you so you can see you for yourself, right? A lot of my work is making sure that I'm a mirror to this. When I explain my experience, I want this to mirror whatever experience that you're going through so you can see yourself for you. Because despite whatever situation, despite whatever flaws, I'm someone who's very aware. I'm extremely self-aware of like a lot of things. In some cases, I'm not. Like, sometimes I don't understand my fire, right? For the last year and some change, I had to understand my fire. Because like to this day, despite my influence, despite like me being told I'm an influencer or signing some influencer stuff and like everything else, I never thought of myself as that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I never thought of myself as an influencer. Never thought of myself as some like celebrity thing. I never thought of myself as like anyone above. I feel like we really all in this human game together at the end of the day. And the more that we can understand the spirit of why we're all here together in the first place gives us way more context into how we can love each other and understand each other more. And so of all the modalities and things that I chose astrology because that was the only science that got us straight back to spirit and right back straight to you, right? I honestly was in a reading the other day and someone, it might have been Shafali, shout out if it's Shafali, but she was like, yo, the way that you intuit stuff based off of astrology is mad different, right? And I'm like, I mean, yeah, because it's from the intuition. It's like, oh, no. But there's a psychic element to things too. And in my head, I'm like, even to this day, I've never been like, oh, that's what I am. Although that is what I am. But there's like, when you are what you are, you don't have to put a word to it. When you are what you are, you don't have to sit there and explain to everybody what it is. They're going to feel it. And what I try to strive to do is have y'all be in a position where they don't have to ask. They just gonna feel it. That's why I point out those stars. That's why I do the destiny read. That's why I made a destiny reading and stuff in the first place. Not everybody has the time to learn in a 2-hour masterclass of how to do this yourself, right? Because I give you all the notes. I give you all the notes you need ever to really start to break that down. And for those of y'all who are called to it, that's free game. For those of y'all who just want to learn about some stuff or learn about yourself, that's still free game. For those of y'all who are just passing by and want to belittle it for whatever reason, still putting you on game. Because at the end of the day, it was raw, it was real, it was genuine to me, and it wasn't fabricated for a specific reason. And so when I have to say this last thing, what's real is always going to last. What is in shadow does come to light, not because it's to punish it, but because at the end of the day, whatever core of what you are is what gets pushed out, whether you try to mask it, you shadow it or not. Who you are is who you are. So the more that you can figure out who you are, love who you are, forgive yourself from your mistakes, ask forgiveness for your old mistakes, find your place in space with God, the universe, etc., whatever makes you feel great. That's when you start to become you. And then you could be a spiritual warrior. And then you could start fighting all this other stuff. How many people I've seen back in the day when I know they didn't do the work, because I know they didn't do the work, because back when you were really doing the work, you would have got ostracized for that. And that's in my time frame, right? You know what I'm saying? I've been to church. Like, I learned a lot of stuff. I was the kid asking too many questions because I'm like, this don't make no sense. This don't make no sense. But I wanted to know. And in every place that I got led out of, and me studying these ancient philosophies or me taking Latin to learn more of old stuff and all this other stuff that came through, I learned that the only thing that kept together the entire time was astrology. No matter what background you go to, Chinese, Vedic, Babylonian, etc., no matter how you look at it, there was somebody looking at the stars, interpreting how the heavens impacted us. And if we want to look at the biggest star that we got, we have the sun going up every day. If you want to look at the most beautiful object that we have in the sky outside of that, full moon's out tonight. Go out and see it. This is the cosmology of how this all works. But the reason why y'all kind of sense a little different from me is because I've always been on this path. You know what I'm saying? That's why I try not to discredit other people, because people are learning stuff. Like, I've been on this. This is me. This is who I am. I am Maverick. It used to be a title. That's who I am. Am I still Chad? For sure. I'm never going to forget where I come from. But I'm Maverick. That's who I am. That's what I project. That's what I've built myself to be. I'm going to say this one more time, right? We looked at this before. You know, this is also for me too. I'm healing my inner child throughout this full moon in Virgo. This full moon in Aries. Best I can in that process, right? This kid had heart, but the world kept disrespecting him. This was in a Catholic school that I took this in. I was in Catholic school. I was dealing with all types of stuff. Racism, ableism, just all types of things. And so from that aspect of me being myself, I could have instead just used that fire to push against, to fight against. No, I am relevant, I swear. No, I am cool. Like, let me show you. Oh, this is a part of me. Like, I'll prove it. Versus, I'm going to take my own path. Yeah, I'm playing Game Boy in class. What's up? I want to play Game Boy in class. You got a problem? Yeah, I'm over here reading my astrology notes while I'm supposed to be working, but that's what I want to do. You going to tell me what to do with my time? And I hope this is calling for that part of you that doesn't get told, because the reason why I always point out this inner child is because the inner child that you have is that core part of what's going on. If you was into something when you were stupidly young, you probably still into it, right? The smolder was an error. For sure. But like, this is where that ends up changing. So I hope some of this has given y'all a little bit of context into this full moon in Aries so far. I know I've been going off for a bit, but I really wanted to break down these things because, like, you need to follow your instincts. You need to trust in yourself. You need to follow your dreams in a way where you're being tangible and actionable about it and not just saying, I'm going to do this shit later. That's a trap. The trap is that later on, we're going to do all the things we want to do. Once I have money, I'm going to do all the things I want to do. Once I do this thing, I'm going to do all the things I want to do. Once I have the perfect partner, I'm going to do all the things I want to do. What's stopping you from doing that now? What's stopping you from being exactly who you are now? And you could say it's the person next to you. Why are you in that environment? You choose your environment. And unless you a little homie, and you don't have the wherewithal to do this, you don't have your ID yet that says that you're grown and you could go do whatever your case is, take your time, bide your time. You're still learning life. You're still figuring out life, right? I don't think most people are grown until they're 25. You know what I'm saying? So this is my first couple years of being like cognizant. And what did I do? Made myself into this. From Pluto and Capricorn at the beginning to now, what have you made yourself? Because not everybody here is an astrologer, but some people are construction workers. Some people here take care of the youth. Some people here are teachers. Some people here are celebrities. Some people here are filthy rich. I have such a wide range of who's coming through because I care about the people, and each and every single person has their own individual story. And so when it comes to this full moon in Aries, what's your lore? How did you get here? And what steps do you want to take so you can make sure that second season of that lore is exactly the way that you want it to be? That's what this full moon is about, especially as the nodes are about to change soon. This is the release. Stop caring about everyone else's perception of who you are, because you'll never make everyone happy, especially those that you want to impress the most. Stick to you, and the things that you actually need in this world will come to you. What you seek is seeking you, but you have to show up as you first. It's the only way you can make that shit happen. In my own personal life, love, money, whatever it is that you want, you have to point out where you are first. You got some healing to do. We all do. We all got some healing to do. I got some healing to do. You got some healing to do. This is all part of the process. But when we all band together to try to be better and find out what better is for us, that's the only way the world can start to change. So I hope that y'all take that, feel that. And I don't mean to make you cry. I hope it's a good cry. I hope it's a real good cry. I appreciate you. But that's really what that is, you know? Now I don't take nothing back because I said what I said. You feel me? I said what I said. All right, let me say. So, all right, let me break this down 1 second. I'm gonna go back now. I apologize for those of y'all. I told you I was gonna go into the very 201s, yes. Blah blah blah. Sorry. Okay, so KL said that did give me $1 million or at least $500,000. Okay, $250,000 at the least. Yo, if anyone pays me an egregious amount of money, I'm just fully making the business, and like the real homies are getting put on. Like literally, it's funny when I think about it, because like I don't think my vision of things have ever really changed. I just want to make sure the people that are coming through are like real people, right? But it's like if someone angel donated me like $500,000 tomorrow, I know exactly what to do with it. And then I'd give them that same amount back in by the year next. Like, it's not a problem. When you move through your force of the universe, when you know your stars, and when you recognize God for what that is, life happens for you, even at your worst moments, right? A lot of people, like you just gotta rock with it. You know what I'm saying? I don't come from much, right? A lot of people think that like whatever the case is, I don't come from much. I'm not necessarily, I'm from a place that has dirty in the title. Like it's not like I come from a place that's like super crazy, but you got to build who you are no matter where you at, right? It's not about where you at. It's not about where you're from. It's about where you're going, where you headed. Okay. My bad. I'm just going to get back into it. Diddy dodged a bullet for real. Yup. It was a weird time. Learned a lot though. I look so depressed in those pictures. I ain't gonna lie. Did you ever second? Nope. But did I second that? 1 second. My fault. I'm trying to read, but like I'm still tuned in. So I'm like, wait 1 sec. It's so strange and the clarity is profound. And sometimes people are like, you make zero sense, but to you, everything makes total sense. Yo, that's the Aries principle. Like, this makes sense to me, right? Aries at the end of the day is me, right? Aries rules the head. Aries rules the I am. I almost want to say that the Aries vibration is the only reason why the mind exists, the reason why the ego exists. A lot of people talk about ego and egotistical, but a lot of times ego is what makes sure that you eat in a day. Ego is what makes sure that you know that you have needs. Like without your ego, you're kind of toast. Like you're cooked. So like as much as we try to talk about the ego is bad, the ego is bad. Isn't every leader at the top of something else? Don't they have an ego? So how is the ego that bad? Because in order for you to lead, don't you have to have an ego? In order for you to have to be a man of God and to speak on that, don't you have to have an ego? Don't you have to claim that? Don't you have to be that thing? So why are you going to be that thing and then claim everyone out of their own power? That's the thing that I refuse to do. That's the reason why I do my best to give back to y'all. It's the reason why I dropped the masterclass for free. Go learn you, because nothing else in this world going to try to teach you who the fuck you are. Because that means they lose dollars. They lose money the more comfortable you are. They lose money the more yourself that you are, right? I don't even have the ads on and stuff right now. I was wanting to spit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, I needed to be uninterrupted. I need to break this stuff down. I'll probably turn them on when I start to do the cards. But like, I just wanted to like let you know. You get what I'm saying? Okay, shout out to Love Bam. Love Bambina said, watching this on the TV for the first time and the quality of the video is unmatched. I've worked so hard for this. Y'all have no idea. I have a story. It's been long enough. I have a lot of stories. I just don't tell everybody all the stories. I have a story. Some of you should be scared. I'm joking. I'm playing. That's for whatever one hate watches me. Anyway, but what I can say is that I'm gonna show you something real quick. It's a lot of time though. Can I just do it the fast way? If I could finesse this, I'll show you. If I can't finesse this, as a dub, but hopefully I can, because like, it'll take too long. It'll take too long, and I don't want to interrupt the vibe right now. But what I can say, right, is that, I could probably show you on here. 1 second. Oh, I hope I have it. Did I take it down? I feel like I was embarrassed. Anyway, the first viral video that I ever had, which didn't happen for a really long time because the algorithms were, how do I put this? The algorithms at a certain point in the last 5 years were making sure not to show darker toned people because they were flagged as unattractive according to the social media standards. I know a lot of things. I don't get into everything, but it's so for me, I finally went viral for the first time, ironically at a time where like the quality was so messed up. You ain't know what was going on. I looked chalky. I looked like someone drew me in crayon. It looked crazy. I had terrible lighting. I was mad that day. I went to a studio to do stuff. None of those stuff works. I have a background in audio and all this other stuff, so I know it wasn't on me, right? And the algorithms would have refused to do that. And it was the first one that like things were so like messed up that it went viral. For the first time, like something I was saying and talking about went viral. Why? I was upset. Why? Because I didn't look the way the part. Why? Because I just did that other thing. Like, there's so much stuff that goes on with that, right? There's so much that goes on with that. And people don't know because they throw it under the rug. I study. I'm here. I watch this stuff. I'm here. I peep game. I've been doing this. You know what I'm saying? Like, and there's no part of me that's upset because I know what I got into. I know what I got into because that kid that you were watching before was having to watch and really see what was going on with my people and all this other stuff. Like, I know, right? And it's one of those circumstances to where, despite all the noise, right? When you meet your mentor, when you meet your hero in terms of like what it is that you do, and they sit there and tell you that you're gonna have the hardest time than everybody because you real and you actually about what you're doing, you gotta take that to heart. And again, I'm telling you this so you start to claim what it is that you have. There was 5 months back or a few months back, I was talking about something about like this and I was kind of feeling myself. I was like, oh, it was really cool. I ended up knocking that out and doing it. And somebody in the comments was like, you need to stop talking about how great you are. And I was like, why would I stop talking or affirming the things that took me from 2008 to now in order to do? You get what I'm saying? Like, why would I dismiss myself? Why would I spit in my own face towards what I've been through and experienced to then shut myself out for it? This Aries full moon needs you to be on time. And so if you do want to know how to tap into this full moon in Aries. This is a plug at this point to give y'all context, but genuinely speaking, get that mini reading. Get that mini reading. I'll put them on for $20, right? Most people make you charge dirty dollars to pop into a live stream and for them to talk about nothing. I'll make sure to give y'all as much real as I can. As a matter of fact, let's hop into the astrology just to break all that down. Then I'm going to pull some cards. Then we're going to end up hanging out for a bit and just talking. Is everyone doing okay so far? I know I said a lot of things. I know we got into a lot of things. I know I broke some stuff down. Is everyone okay so far? Please let me know. Giving free, cool. But yeah, because at the end of the day, like this is for the people. I was giving hater facts, but this is for the people, right? My first album that I ever put out in like college, or the first like tape I put out was called "For the People, for the Culture," and I've been that way ever since. You know what I mean? Like life will make me rich. Time will make me. The time will make me a champion. I'm not worried about none of that other shit. That was real. I didn't notice I said that. My bad. Why do I apologize? I don't. Deal with it. Okay, cool. Let's get to the next part. Bang. So this right here is the astrology. We are doing wonderful. Love to hear it. Let's go. But that's why you're here, to provide content for them. Yeah, and then they try to copy it, but they don't know what the sauce is. So that's always fun. Anyway, let's get into this next part. You can't imitate the formula. It's embedded. All right. So this right here is going to be the full moon in Aries, right? We're having it on October 17th. For people who are living on the West Coast, we're experiencing this in the wee hours of the morning. And for those of y'all who are on the East Coast, you're experiencing that as soon as y'all get up, right? What you're doing, what's good? I am talented. You're going to have to go back and rewatch this. I ain't going to lie. If you're popping up now, you're going to have to watch it from the beginning. I know I put timestamps and stuff, but everything connects, but you have to watch it linearly. I don't know how else to explain it. Like you just, if you've been here, you know, because if you just click on a timestamp from me, you're like, what's happening? Like you gotta watch it first, you know. But I'm good. We like letting you cook. I appreciate cooking for the people. Want to make sure y'all have some good gourmet meals. I know there's a lot of microwavable things out there. I want to make sure that y'all have a 5-star experience. So yeah. Why wouldn't you be talking about you? Occasionally, LOL, at least maybe. Okay, let's talk about this, right? Someone said, why be afraid of talking about you? Because Chiron went into Aries. And I have been working with the element of Chiron for a long time. As a matter of fact, I don't think I'd be able to do what I do had I not learned and worked with the Chiron part to begin with. Why? Because Chiron is the master healer, but only when you address your own pain, only when you address your own darkness and more. So when it comes to the moon and Chiron being here, this is a full moon on Chiron. So when I'm talking about this childhood stuff, when I'm showing you the old picture, this is astrologically sound, right? The difference between me and the other stuff, this all astrologically sound. I don't put a meme out that's not astrologically sound. Like it's we are highlighting the times. But the reason why this is important is because the Chiron portion on this full moon is like, you have to have the bravery to talk about what you've healed. You have to have the bravery to say, F you, the things that aren't meant for you. You have to be real enough with yourself to know what it is that you're actually okay with and what you're not okay with, right? And this doesn't mean that sometimes you don't have to like be a certain way. Sometimes you have to be a little more nice, right? Maybe you're bringing out that part of you that's a little more nice, right? I'm not saying that you shouldn't have to be a chameleon in certain cases, because sometimes that has to do with your safety. Sometimes that has to deal with, are you getting a job or not getting a job? There's a lot of things that are in between that. But when you could really use that core to the things that you care about, right? And I'm going to cut in right here for a second, because we also have on the other side of this Juno. Juno is in Libra on the sun, which is the asteroid that has to do with marriage and long-term commitment. And one thing that happens, at least in this era, day and age, and etc., a lot of people are looking for long-term partnership. A lot of people are looking for someone that they can gel with and rock with and be with and snuggle with and do all the cute things that they've always imagined with. But you don't put yourself on display for real. You don't actually show up as yourself. You get dressed up in the most elaborate thing that you can. You wear the perfumes at the top of the shelf to make sure everyone knows that you're coming through. You do these things to try to impress versus being present. Where the full moon in Aries is like the most true you, the most magical you lives in the present moment, right? The reason, like that's And part of why I even go live to begin with is because this is just a present moment in motion, and we're all here together. Like, this is the present moment. This is why people used to sit in those circles back in the day and talk about community and commune and all this other stuff, right? And what I mean by this portion of things, and getting a little bit deeper again into the astrology as I'm into it, this in between, this back and forth, the moon in Aries at this release point is trying to make sure that your childhood dream does not go unlooked at. Your childhood core part, that joy you would have, that hope that you had, that seeming connection to the divine that you've always had still exists within you, right? Maybe you do got to watch an old movie you used to rock with, right? Maybe you do have to. The present is a gift. And sometimes in order for you to realize how much the gift the present in, you have to remember where you came from. You have to remember where you started. You have to look at the way that you was raised, the way your parents were, the way that your first interactions with your friends were, the first interactions of dating were. You have to remember how hard those things were. Or maybe they came to you easy. But you have to remember what that looked like for you in order to move forward. In order to know where you're headed, you got to remember where you at. And you got to remember what got you there in the first place. So let's get back into the astrology one more again, right? So we get to this one more time. Why is all this family-ish stuff coming up? Why is the traditions and backgrounds and all this other thing happening? We have the moon making its connection to Mars and Cancer. So Mars and Cancer has been going on for a few months now, right? And Mars and Cancer is the reason why everybody been a little moody, right? A lot of people, Mars and Cancer is the reason why a lot of people have been a little bit more like, I'd rather be in the house, right? Like, I feel like there was a huge culture of going out during the summertime, during the brat summer that we just experienced. Shout out to Charlie XCX and all that. But like, after all of that happened, now everyone's on some like, oh, I'm inside. Oh, I'm just trying to do this. Oh, I'm just working on myself. Are you? Are you really? Because a lot of people, this is my personal thought, a lot of people use the excuse of working on themselves to finesse themselves out of connection. A lot of people use the finesse of, oh, I'm just not there yet, to like never even start. A lot of people think you're supposed to be perfect before you start a relationship, and things are supposed to just be magical ever since, right? Meanwhile, most people don't even ask their partner what they want or what they like or what's going on. A lot of people assume that if I'm good, someone's going to come in, know exactly what to do, and it's going to be perfect. It's like, wait, where are you at in that situation? Have you asked what's going on? Have you been willing to compromise in places that things that didn't used to be okay before? You get what I'm saying? BS that everybody and their granny want to call me tonight once I got the notification. That's because they're trying to distract you from the real. I don't even have ads on right now. This is for the people. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is for the people who show up on time. You showed up on time, here you go. I might start doing that moving forward, right? Talk that talk. I have no other choice. This is part of who I am. Get it? You get it? You get it? Good. You don't have to be completely healed to be deserving of love. Liv, I'm gonna say that one more time. Shout out to Liv for saying that. You don't have to be completely healed to be deserving of love. And guess what? Guess what, ladies and gentlemen, days, gays, and more? We have that right here. Because on this side, it's like, oh, the commitments are here. I need to be perfect. I need to show up as a perfect partner. Meanwhile, this is like, I actually don't. I want to just be by myself and eat chips and all this other stuff. You have to go between the comfort of being you and what I'll put it like this, right? We get expected to do so many things. And at a certain point, as we get expected to do these things become so cyclical that we don't stand up for ourselves anymore, right? We don't start to like lean into what's really happening in our world. And we can get so caught up in the rat race looking at one another and being like, hey, this person's screwing me over. Hey, this person's screwing me over. But you got to look up, right? The biggest finesse that they ever gave is that there's no, oh, you got to add? Interesting. They do pay me for AdSense, but I didn't think I had them on. Oh, okay, maybe the ads are rolling. I apologize, y'all. I thought I had them off right now. Usually I have to click it manually, so I guess it actually worked the right way. Either way, appreciate y'all for still rocking with me. Y'all know I do get paid for the AdSense, which was a big accomplishment because I was scared to do YouTube in 2019 when I first started it. So like to be like, oh, I'm afraid to show my face and talk about the things I care about most, to now being here with y'all, convincing y'all to like take the leap to do what you care about most. It's been a beautiful time. Only 2 ads, amazing, great. I think I just went live for too long, and now YouTube needs their bread, but also I get paid from it. And honestly, that's the reason why I have the mini readings, right? Because usually these classes for most people, $30, and then they're trash. So I want to make sure to give y'all the real. So then you could just keep it moving from there, right? So here's the next part to everything, right? Again, I'm gonna get back to this Mars and Cancer portion just to double back on that for a second, because Mars and Cancer is typically, and I'm gonna be honest with you, Mars and Cancer is typically more of like a passive aggressive thing, right? Mars and Cancer is like, I intuitively feel this is off. I'm gonna like shoulder my way away from it. And I'm gonna be so honest with you. In this full moon in Aries, you might have to have a few difficult conversations with people you care about. You might have to have a few conversations with people where you're like, yo, this isn't something that makes me comfortable. There might be that like oomph that happens, that urge to talk about it. And my biggest suggestion is not to just dump what you're feeling directly on them, but it's to like really engage with them. I think a lot of the reasons why we get into so much hoopla between one another all the time is because like people are so in their own shit, they can't see the person that they're talking to. They're so in like, oh, like back to the relationship thing. Well, I want to get married and I want to have kids and I can't have it any other way. I never really thought about that part. And I never really fully fledged that. Well, you must be black. See what I'm saying? That person didn't even get to fully articulate it. That person didn't even get to tell you their take on it. Like when you're too in your own way, you're always going to be in your own way. So what this full moon is trying to do is like, if you're in your own way, this full moon is trying to like show you where that is. And then the biggest finesse that you can pull off is truly learning how to compromise. It's truly learning like, how do I stay my full self while also letting them be their full self? Because that's where all that other stuff lives, right? There's a reason where it's like, if you're actualizing your power or you're doing a thing that's meant for you, love just comes to you, right? When you're actualizing your field and your career and you're looking for the next person, that thing just comes to you and it happens. The more you push into the ethers trying to claim and grab and claim control and claim power, you end up in worse off situations than when you trust in the timing of what your heart knows, when you trust in the timing of what your astrology says, when you trust in the timing of you knowing who you are, right? I tell you I'm going off today. So to get this over one more time, we have the moon making a sextile over to Jupiter. I'll talk about both of these a little bit more on my newsletter. So if you want to check that out too, I definitely would. I'll double back on it just to kind of show y'all in case you are not subscribed. And if so, why not? So to move, oh, that was backwards. Oh man. Okay. Now we're good. So we had the moon, Jupiter making a sextile as well. So being communicative and speaking on your truths and speaking on your experience and speaking on the background of things and giving people some understanding of the lore of why things are, the understanding of like why certain situations go the way that they do. The more upfront and real you can keep it, and the more you're willing to like deal with the navigations of those uncomfy feelings, you're learning the lesson of this North Node in Aries. You've learned it, if that's the case, right? Because if we look at this, let me just double check, double back, right? You're going to see a lot of stuff, but I'm going to make it look less hectic. But this is what I look at every day for too long. So if I ever mess up your birth sign or a thing off the top of my head, I apologize. I look at this every day and I edit horoscopes throughout my whole day. So I'm just looking at charts, just ooh, I am talented just brought up a point, right? I've learned not to expect anything except expecting to be themselves. Yo, real quick. No, you spit. Let me stop everything. Stop expecting things aside from people being themselves. It's so true. Because at the end of the day, no, I get you. If you expect people to just be themselves, at the end of the day, they're either going to be the closest person to you or they're going to show their ass in a bad way fast enough for you to know what to do afterward, right? So, hold on. With relationships of any kind, Liv be spitting. I'm going to read off what you're saying. We're going to work with that because you be spitting. Good luck. Liv said, with relationships of any kind and disagreements, there needs to be a willingness to learn and understand each other completely. Otherwise, your own interests are your main priority. And so I love that you mentioned that, because a full moon in Aries at its best is that both of your interests being the priority and you learning to like meld together with that. That's why I think Juno's on the other side of that, because whatever it is core that's about you and whatever's core about them, that's when you start to enter harmony. That's when you enter into partnership. That's when you enter into like all the good stuff that people talk about in the Libra vibration, right? Opens webpage for the newsletter. You're smart. Charity, I see that you, oh, did my camera die? Hold up, y'all. One sec. Let's get this. Oops, that's wrong. That's also wrong. That's wrong too. This one. Oh. And we back. Okay, apologize for that. So, you look, bro. Y'all know I be spitting. Hi, person who clicks the button on YouTube when I start spitting too much. How's it going? Anyway, appreciate y'all for still pulling through. Let me know if y'all still hear me. Sometimes audio can get whacked out from that too. Just let me know if that's the case. If so, I will stop for that. If not, I'll just keep going, because yeah. So yeah, please let someone know in the chat if I'm still live and going in. And at that point, I will finish what I was saying and then knock out some of these cards that we laid before. Ooh. Let's see. We still connected? Yeah, the freeze frame was crazy. They was trying to do me dirty. You know what I'm saying? That's okay though. This fire is the fire that I chose. It's a sage in case anybody wants to get weird with it. I'm gonna use my original tarot deck. I'm gonna use my OG tarot deck. That's what we're gonna do. I want to say this is the oldest tarot deck I have, for a fact. I don't know if this is the first one I ever had, but it's the oldest one. No, it's not the first one I ever had, but it's the first one I ever bought. Okay, we're good. Good to know. This is why we had the Be Right Back thing, right? I got to change the music on that every time. For anyone who does Zoom meetings with me consistently, you might realize that like I always switch up the background. I'll just make a new background every single time because it makes things fresh and fun and new. Hey, fire, you better stop that. Stab it. Okay, cool. Perks of being a triple fire sign, Anyways, loving this. First time popping in on the feed. Wow. Subscribing now. Shout out. If this is your first live stream, oh my God. Congrats. That's crazy. It's such a wild concept. You know what I'm saying? It's so cool. All right. First one for me was Rider Waite. As a matter of fact, I do. Ooh, look at the Wheel of Fortune. Anyway, I do suggest everybody to at least read the Rider Waite. I always recommend people to like learn the classic stuff, because then you can do whatever you want from there. So I guess let's just go into the cards. That's what I'm being called to do. So let's just do that, right? All right. So let's start off with this is a card for the collective. Let's see what we all need to see, what we all need to know. What's good, James? How you living? All right, let's get it. One sec. Yeah, yo, anyone who popped in later on, watch this from the beginning. I promise you this will give you so much insight. Okay. And also watch the Astrology 101 I put out for free. And if you want to get a reading with me, that would be like the best thanks to that, because like I gave y'all $500 a game free. Love y'all. You know what I'm saying? This is the age of Aquarius, baby. We're not doing that stupid ish no more. Like let's really get it. I'm gonna show y'all what it's like to get it from the bottom. That's what I'm gonna show y'all. Let's get it. So confusion. Yeah. Okay. So, right here, because Spirit pushed you. Good to have you in. So we have the Sun card. This is the underneath card that I have. But we also have the Two of Swords. And so this is going to be really relevant to some people, where I'm talking about like, what's your passion? What's going on? So I'm going to let you know like this. Half of y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. And half of y'all watching are probably still like, what is that for me? Right? And so this phase of this full moon in Aries is just to let you know, every time I point out this card, they have everything in their power to just put down the swords and take off their blindfold and see what's in front of them. So while I love and hate that card to a certain degree, and the only reason why I don't like it is because it's like, you do still have the power. There's nothing that's making them stand with the swords. You could just put them down, take off the fold, and see what's right in front of you. But right now, because of this full moon in Aries, because of the nodal axis, because of all these other parts, you might still be trying to figure out what's the exact thing. And I'm gonna let you know right now, it's not about knowing exactly what it is, but it is about following your instincts. It is about following what's going to be popping up in front of you. And here's the other side of this. A lot of people, I'll let y'all know right now, especially with this Pluto just going direct, a lot of people are leaving their dark nights of the soul. A lot of people are leaving their dark nights of the soul. A lot of people are leaving the things that have stressed them out, that have hurt them, right? A lot of things are changing because of that for the collective, especially for those of y'all who have been doing the work. Appreciate y'all. Shout out to y'all for doing your best every day, no matter how that looks. We have the 9 of Wands. So I have to let you know this. When it comes to you really living the trueness of yourself, it takes a lot of work. Like the reason why I talk about the in-between is because for me, even that's like, honestly, it's perspective giving, right? Because I don't always see myself as someone who did this thing or that thing, but being able to share your story gives you a different perspective. So what are you doing to your story right now? You're adding the layers. There is work to be done. There are things to be done, right? Oh, what if thoughts were preventing you because of anxiety? Well, guess what? I would literally just pull this, the star. So what are you anxious about? Because I think when it comes to the angst of people, we're not, correction. There was a quote I heard so long ago. If someone knows who said this, please let me know. It could have just been a thing that I saw. But they were saying that like your anxiety typically, now granted, people have different parts of this, don't get me wrong. But a lot of people are saying that like your anxiety is typically the voices of like 2 or 3 people in your life, right? Let's say like 2 of your parents, or one's like your oldest teacher you ever had, or one's an old part. Like there's usually these other aspects that are guiding you to that. But if you get to quiet the other parts of things and you just listen to your own, you're never really mad at yourself. You're never really that upset with yourself. You're upset with someone else's perspective of what they programmed into you in order for you to think. So I know that's a little meta, but all this to say, that's the reason why it is so important to meditate if you do, or find your meditation of whatever that is, because that at least guides you back to self. Because what you are, which is what I pulled for, this is a general pull for anyone who is feeling that angst, is the star. The star, right? Because like the star knows they're the star. They're not trying to force it. They're not trying to be something else. If you see, the star card is just them over there at the water pouring stuff out while the sky is just chilling. Like they're not trying to do something extra. They're just being what they are. And so when being what you are the star. So the angst that's coming through isn't even from you typically. Not say it's not. I don't know the full situation. I don't have your chart in front of me, but it's typically something else. So it's okay. It's okay to be anxious. I get nervous when I go do live. I get nervous before I start stuff up. If you're not nervous before you do something, it's not that important to you. Speaking of, there's a lot of work to be done. I'm not going to lie to y'all. Not going to lie to y'all. This Pluto directs is making people put in the work for this, right? You're going to have to sometimes start from ground zero just in order to really get this to go across. But just not to be afraid of the work, because it's through the work where, oh, guess what? The Chariot card, that's when the success rolls through. That's when you knowing that you have it and that you got it and that you move through life with your own thoughts, not the thoughts that other people prescribe to you. That's when you know that you're really doing it, right? Hope that helps. That's going to be for everybody, though. Let's get into the cards. Ugh, for real, the veil is gone. Stone cold truth. No more lying to ourselves. That's why I was so straight up with y'all this hour beforehand. I thought I was going to go live for like 45 minutes. I ain't going to lie. But that was important. That was important to explain. That wasn't important for me. That wasn't important for my ego. I know who the fuck I am. I ain't tripping on none of that. You know what I'm saying? I'm a confident guy. But in general, like, that's important to give y'all those pieces. And so I want y'all to explore your world. What does your stuff look like from, actually, that's my homework to y'all. I've been really fighting giving people objectives and all this other stuff. But genuinely speaking, my homework for y'all is to like look through some old pictures, find yourself your old notebooks, look through all the other things, and really figure out what it is that you have started to grow into from 2008 until now. So go back to those old Facebooks, go back to those old social medias, look at the profile pictures of where you are now. Feel a little embarrassed, sure, but that's a part of your story. So, and this is also, it's not the last call because the mini readings will be open until the 17th. But if you do want to get a mini reading right now, I have them for $20. That's $22.22. Right, that is a meal. That is a singular meal for my tall, hungry self. So that is something that you want to do to pull through, just to show some support and love for all the stuff that I'm putting out. Just have y'all have. That'd be really dope. And I also love reading for y'all individually and checking that stuff out. So that's something you're interested in. Make sure you check that out. Aside from that, let's read for your cards. For anyone who's new here, when I do your card pulls, I'm reading for your sun, moon, and rising. Mostly your rising. When I read these cards, I might make fun of you a little, but it's because I care. It's because I love you. Because no one else is going to be honest with you about this. And if they were honest with you about this, you probably wouldn't be here in the first place. So let's really get into what this all is, right? All right. It's the in-between effects. All right, let's get it. Yo, James just said when Pluto went in Capricorn in 2008, that's when your healing journey started. Watch this from the beginning. Trust, because I broke down a lot of info. All right. Let's get it. So we want to start off with the fire signs. We're going to go over to the air signs, and we'll take it from there. So for fire and air, let's starting off with y'all, right? We're going to go back and forth between the sister signs to make sure everybody's doing that. And I always read different because if not, things get boring. So we're going to start off with Aries since this is your full moon. So this is going to be for my Aries, sun, moon, and rising. Let's see what's popping up for y'all. Ooh, Aries. The Judgment card. All right, Judgment card. I don't even think this is a scary thing because we also have the Ace of Cups, Aries. And I think what this full moon is trying to do is to show you that like your emotions and your spiritual portion of yourself have been guiding you way deeper and way more seriously than you thought that they have. You might have thought that you had to push through the noise by like simply being more fiery and more passionate. However, there is this part of you that needs to be more serene, a little more subtle, and tap into the emotive side of things, right? Why do you want to pull up with your fire? What's the emotional pulse if you wanted to make sure that you show up like that? That's what you need to kind of lean on, because this Judgment card is trying to show you that like the people who have been opposing your authenticity, they got to deal with the universe or karma or whatever on their own, right? You don't have to go ahead and do that. What you have to do as an Aries energy, especially during this full moon, is just tap into the spiritual part of that. You just have to tap into the truth of that. Shout out my boy Mar, you know what I'm saying? But like for the Aries portion, like you just have to really get to the actual feeling. You got to remember the feeling. You got to remember the feeling. There's a reason. Remember how I kept showing y'all the old picture of me like a bit ago? I'm not going to do it again, but like, oh shoot, I remember that feeling. I remember being in there, pointing out that globe, being like, I rule all of this. I don't want your stupid stuff and your dumb political jargon. I want the ocean. A lot of cool stuff's there. Now the ocean is terrifying, but that's the Ace of Cups. So I hope that gives y'all a little perspective as far as in terms of that. So that's what I got going for Aries, that there is this big change on the horizon, but it has to do with you trusting your emotions more than it has to do with you trusting your fire. So I hope that helps. Okay, so Libra, it's your season. It's for the air sign. Libra, sun, moon, and rising. Let's get it, right? Ooh, Libra, you got the lovers. So y'all about to go shaboink. Congratulations. Now, but for real. So when it does come to the lovers card in this regard, right? Libra, y'all are the relationship and partnership card. So Libra, if you got a special somebody, or at least a somebody, or something somewhat kind of fling sort of somebody, you're going to end up being in a situation where y'all going to spend a little time together. How do I know? Because the strength card is here. So what's going on with y'all Libra is that I think, especially with this happening in your 7th house, I think this is one of those circumstances to where it's like you are being guided to the heart of your partnership, or maybe you're seeing new parts of your partnership that you hadn't before that's reflecting new parts of you back, right? You're like, oh shoot, I'm learning more about my partner. Oh shoot, I'm learning more about the heart of my partner, or why they interact like this, or why they act like this in the first place. That's going to be a huge theme for all the people that are Libra. You're going to be seeing the more of the depths of the people that are in your life, that are in that like circumstance. So just something that I definitely wanted to point out to y'all, because like there is during this full moon a really strong part in connection to like how you're going to be bridging in love into the world even stronger moving forward. As I'm saying this and talking about Libra, I'm like moving the light away from my face, being like, ew, is it still work? The sun started going down. Is it still okay? So shout out to the Libras and all that. But the Lover's card is really going to start guiding you through. So let love be your answer, as it was always supposed to be, you Venusian. So let's get into it. So that's what's going to go on for Libra, right? Again, for anybody who wants a mini reading of their specific chart, make sure that you check that out. I'm throwing them down. It's a sale right now for $22.22. And if y'all want to get like a full reading, that's my favorite thing to do, and the thing that I am best at in this world outside of all the other stuff. Anyway, all right, let's get into the next. It's going to be for my Leos. Let's get this for you. Sun, moon, and rising. What's the vibe? What you going through? What y'all feeling? Okay, so we got the Three of Cups. We have the Three of Cups right here. And we have the Queen of Tennis Balls. So when it comes to Leo right now, I think y'all are in this celebration stage. Y'all are like, ooh, wow, everything's good. Wow, everything's great. Everything's good. Everything. Ooh, yeah, everyone's having a good time. Everyone's turning up. It's lit at the night show. But on the other side of things, you're like, I'm willing. I just want to be back in my power. As a matter of fact, I just watched Brave yesterday. Brave, it was the one about the little redhead Sagittarius girl that's on Disney, and her mom is being extra about her having to get married and stuff like that, and then she turns into a bear. It's a whole situation. But the idea is, right, the Queen of Pentacles reminds me of the queen of that movie, to where it's like her duty was so important to her that she kept like trying to be more dutiful than like beautiful. But there was literally when she decided to like let go of that. She was still a queen, but when she decided to let go of the control part of things, and she decided to accept the celebration of who she was and who her family was when she found her second wind, when she found a new life, and she started to like really bring in the true Queen of Pentacles, which is the queen that understands the portion of being dutiful, but also respecting everyone along the path. So for those who have that Leo energy, y'all are actually stepping into a queenlyhood or a kinglyhood, depending on who you're coming from. That's not built on you having to like, how do I put this? Like you're not being subservient is the wrong word, but I want to just use it because it's pulling through. Like you're not like basically bowing down to the hoopla. You get what I'm saying? Like you're not like here being like, oh, the BS is going to win. You're learning how to love yourself and choose yourself and really like stand in the things that you enjoy. So you're getting into a different part of your value system. And the world is trying to get you in the cheer so you can learn that your value is always the greatest one to bring in. Okay. That's Leo. All right. It's going to be for my Aquariuses. For my Aquariuses. Aquarius. Y'all weirdos. Love y'all though. All right, so for Aquarius, let's see what we got. Okay, so for Aquarius, at the bottom of the deck, you got the Queen of Pentacles. So similar to your sister sign with Leo, I think it's like, it's weird because it's like, I feel like Leo is just finally hitting their cool, calm, and collects part of their power. And you're taking your cool, calm, and collect power, Aquarius. And because you're entering in a stage of this age of Aquarius, you're like, I'm not just queen anymore. You're like, I don't have to be queen. You're like, I'm going to be the Empress. Aquarius, have they been doubting your Riz? Have they been doubting your intergalactic steez? Have they been thinking that you some type of schmuck instead of being, I don't know if that's a bad word. Sorry, YouTube. Do you think that is some, I really don't. So I apologize if that's actually something bad. It sounds crazy though. Anyway, but like when it comes to that, are you some kind of person who's not getting up into the actual like rendition of what's going on? Like, or are you finna be the Queen of Queens right now, Aquarius, right? Shout out to Anne. Anne said, I am the Empress. as you are. Go off. Y'all make sure y'all show Ann some love and be here for real. Shout out. But like, that is the difference that's going on right now, right? You're not just playing your role, you're becoming the director, so to speak. Like, you're actually like, you're not in the stage of life everyone else is in. You're starting to like see past the veil in a different way. I hope this is resonating to y'all, but like, y'all are getting into that alien-esque, like, beep, boop, boop, beep. I know what to do now. Then you get it done. Everyone's like, how did you know how to do that? You're just like, oh, I'm the Empress. I just get things done. That's a vibe y'all about to be on, Aquarius. Y'all better hope y'all been being nice to Aquarius for real. Because when they in rulership and they're like, remember that time that you called me weird in a bad way? Oh my God. I love Aquarians. Y'all my people, so I ain't mad, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, let's keep it pushing. So let's get on over to Sagittarius. For Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising for this full moon in Aries. Let's see what pops up. Okay. For Sagittarius, we have the King of Cups, right? So the King of Cups, this is about emotional intelligence. And I think a lot of people get Sagittarius clownery confused with a lack of emotional intelligence. And that's typically not true. Can't speak for every Sag, but I would say that like the King of Cups aspect for you, Sagittarius, is getting you to like, again, remember the emotion. I've been getting that for most of the fire signs. Like, you're remembering the emotion. You're stepping into your prowess. You're not questioning if you can do the fire, but you're learning how to do the water. You're learning how to be like, hey, here's this emotional part, right? And on the bottom end of this, we have the Page of Pentacles. So even with this, as a swag moon, as Mar said, but as a swag moon, or for anything Sagittarius going on, like that seed you planted a little bit ago, the seed you planted, the idea you planted is actually growing, but it doesn't require you to maybe constantly water it the way you thought it was. It just requires you to continuously stand up and to step up in your emotion, in your truth, in that emotional vulnerability. As a matter of fact, right now, your emotional vulnerability is your power, which is a lot of times Sagittarius get told, you gotta run. No, the feelings are coming, run away, blah, blah, blah. Like, this isn't the time to do all that. You know what I'm saying? It's not the time to do all that. It's the time to really dig into the real truth of what's going on. Time to dig into the real feeling of what it means to be king. What does it mean to be king to you? Or queen? Or goddess or god, whatever works. You know the vibe. Yeah. Someone says Sag rising with everything else and Cap emotions scare me. Emotions are what make Capricorn great, because without emotion, Capricorn has no reason to work. Without something to provide for, Capricorn has no reason to do all that stuff. So Capricorns are extremely emotional people, but we just make sure they do the most work. And so they're like, oh, if I do the most work, then people will accept me emotionally. And that's not always the case. You have to love your bar. You do have to love yourself in that process. Bars, bro, I'm bugging. Hey, we all bugging a little bit. I ain't gonna lie. We living in some times and we get to watch these times happen. We just forget because it's a trend. A lot of people are like, trend this, trend that. We're making history. We are literally digitally making history every time we post something. Like, come on, dog. Shout out to whoever's interdimensional watching this too. I know I got y'all too. You know what I'm saying? They're like, yeah, this Earth dude kind of cold with it. It's like, yeah, you're right. All right, so Gemini. All right, let's get on to the Gemini. This is for my twins right quick. Let's get into Gemini. Okay, Gemini. Oh, we got some similar vibes going on with the air and fire though. So on the bottom of the deck, Gemini, similar to Sag. You saw how I just pulled that kind of similar for both the air and fire. We're both on the quote unquote masculine side of the elements, right? Or the yang side for anything else. But when it gets to this King of Cups at the bottom and it's the Chariot card, Gemini, that emotional campaign you've been running in the background that nobody else knows about, it's time to go on it, baby. All that stuff that you've been dealing with on some emotional scale, looking at like your actual trauma. And most people, again, assume Gemini are just, meanwhile, they don't realize every question you've been asking the last long time has been like to literally learn more about yourself emotionally. Gemini, you probably hit up like your ex being like, was I a decent partner? Like, what did I screw up on? I just want to know. I'm not even like, I don't even want this back. I just want to know. Like, Gemini, y'all are in a real productive Melissa said Gemini is freaky in a good way. If y'all agree, drop that down over there. Live y'all life. I don't know. But what I can say, then again, I was just listening to the Gemini homie, and he was explaining some wild stuff on his live stream. So probably, right? But when we get to the Chariot card, right? The Chariot card for y'all Gemini is like, it's not just about feeling your emotions anymore. It's about like campaigning on them now, right? And not to say you should stand on your high horse. I'm not telling you to jump on your soapbox and be like, my feelings are the most important. I'm not saying that. But I am saying that it is a time for you to really communicate what is going on in your emotional world, because that's what's going to be setting you free, not you overthinking the stuff that you're trying to overthink. Have those real conversations, step in with love, and everything else will work out. I don't know what they're doing now, though. Not today, though, because they're getting into their emotions. So you got to respect your emotions, Gemini. Sorry, air signs. Sorry, fire signs. Y'all going to have to get emotional. But yeah, that's pretty much the vibe there. Okay. Do I have enough energy to finish out the rest of these? Probably. But in the in-between time, I'm going to burn a little bit more Palo Santo. I'm going to burn some more sage today. I'm going to do the other stuff later, right? So appreciate y'all for being here. You know what I'm saying? This is also, I hope this cleanse is also helping y'all. I know some people are in places and spaces where you can't do this, you know what I'm saying? So this is that, you know, we got all the negative energy getting out of here. All that good stuff. Okay. Ooh, we working, y'all. Stuff's dropping, stuff's falling. That's okay. Let's get back into it. Has been great hanging out with you guys this evening. Appreciate you being here. My Aqua Moon is screaming at the emotion talk. I can do more. We can keep talking about it. As a matter of fact, let's start with water as we head back into it, right? Genuinely, right? All jokes aside, let's start with water. Keep it moving from there, right? So, actually, we're going to go water and earth. We're going to do the same back and forth just to make sure everyone's engaged. And because we're doing water, I usually end with, let me see. No, I'm going to start with Cancer. I feel like I usually end with like Cap. So let's start with Cancer. All right. So Cancer, this is for you, Sun, Moon, and Rising. What's going on for you this full moon in Aries? Aside from the mini reading you get, of course. Cancer situations. Let me stop. But the idea with this 2 of tennis balls, as we see here, as well as this 10 of wands on the bottom, right? Cancer, you're stuck in between worlds of what you thought you had to be and what you know you're turning into. I'm going to say this one more time, Cancer. You're stuck in between worlds of what you thought you had to be and who you're turning into. And I think for y'all, Cancer, that has a lot to do with Mars and Cancer making a square over to this full moon like I was talking about, right? So for y'all were over there thinking, I have to be the person that like I was brought up to be. Meanwhile, everything in your body is being like, no, I need to just break free of that and do my own thing. And I need to step into my own. Which one are you going to follow? Maybe you have to do both to get to that process. But I will say there is some work involved with that, Cancer. I'm not going to lie. There's going to be a lot of unlearning. There's going to be a lot of unprogramming. There's going to be a lot of needing to step deeper into your own truth to really get that going. So if you've been feeling those feelings and you've been like, why am I going back and forth between who I thought I had to be and who I'm trying to be right now? That's the point. So I hope that gives you a little bit more clarity. This isn't a bad thing. This is a readjustment. This is not a bad thing. For like an air sign person, I'm like, this is the worst thing. Ha ha. For like something else. But for y'all, I really think it's just you. Okay, this works here now. This doesn't work anymore. Okay. And that's okay. Cancer, and that's okay, is going to be your quote for the next little bit. Oh my God, I'm really upset by that. And that's okay. Oh my God, I thought that I got over this, but I didn't. And that's okay. Like Cancer, I'm so serious. Like this is the self-soothe that y'all were looking for before anything else. But there's a lot of work involved with that. Love it. Makes a lot of sense. Thank you. Because that's what I'm trying to explain to that. If we going back and forth, can I wear my slippers? Of course. Wear your slippers. Get comfy. Make sure that they're the fluffy ones, the little pink Johns with the bunnies on them or whatever it is that you got, for sure. Wear your slippers. Enjoy yourself. Take time to yourself. Spa day if you can. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of restorative and regeneration that's coming through with the Cancer vibration with this full moon. And I'm going to leave it at that. I was like, that sounded smart. I'm going to shut up. Let's go to the next thing. Appreciate y'all so being here, rocking through with me. Shout out to y'all who, I know there's some ads in between. Appreciate y'all for doing that. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I was going to tell y'all about the time I was supposed to be on TV. Oh, I'll say that for another time. Make sure you stay tuned for the lore. Which is what led this journey to begin with of having great quality. Sidebar. We in the city, dog. Y'all hear them sirens and all that? Maybe not, but they're happening. Okay, it's Capricorn. Capricorn, this is for y'all. Man, they tweaking. Also, these just been on my head the whole time. There's been no music coming out of them or nothing. Fun facts, the more you know. Okay, Capricorn, this is for y'all. Ooh, Capricorn. Yeah, the Ace of Pentacles. Y'all about to turn up. My Capricorn placements. This is your time. All that you've been cooking on. Matter of fact, Mar, and I'll tell you this, Mar, I promise you, bro, we had a reading about this a while ago, and I was like, wait until like towards the end of the year. I swore when Pluto went to direct, this is it. This is it for my goats who are in here, for my future greatest and my current greatest of all times that are pulling up in this, and anyone with Cap energy, you have the keys. Flex on them. This is your time. Straight up. Like, Cap, this full moon, someone gonna press you, and you're gonna be like, excuse me? Come here. You never talk to me like that again. Hope we get this straight. And they're gonna be like, oh, I didn't know. Cap, y'all taking that, like Bia said, y'all taking that Pluto lesson all the way to high. You going back? No, you come here. Shout out to Michelle. Let's go. Michelle just got the job she wanted today. Shout out to Michelle. Let's go. Come on. This is how we doing it, bro. You know what I'm saying? Still his home. I appreciate y'all for pulling through, but that's like, this is what I do this for. It's just to show y'all what y'all made of. Like, it's not like y'all do the work. I'm just here being like, hey, you know that work you're doing? It exists. It's happening. Stars saying so. Here's how you can work with them. I have the best job ever. I love this shit. So that's for Cap. I don't got nothing else to say to y'all. Y'all winning. Y'all see the confirmations over on the side. How often you see Cap sending emojis? Like, let's really think about this. Is that a song? It might be. I'm a musical man. I don't know. I don't know. I got to get back to making more music, honestly. It's about that time. It's about that time, to be honest. We're getting there. So, congratulations, though. I'm so hyped. Go ahead, Michelle. True Cap in here. You know what I'm saying? True Cap in here. She ain't say nothing this whole time. She got the gear icon. She a moderator, everything. She ain't say nothing this whole time. She was just gangster. Love y'all. All right, let's get to the next part. Okay. One sec. I'm sensing something strong. Oh, Scorpio. Interesting. Okay. So Scorpio. I was like, this next pull is going to be interesting. Scorpio. So here's the thing, Scorpio. I think y'all have saw the proverbial promised land, and I think y'all like know what's going on. This also, Scorpio, could just mean that you found your Ace of Wands, and I do mean that in a euphemism term. However, if that's not the case, this is like really starting to push forward that like passion is the wrong word, but y'all are pushing forward the magnetism. There we go. Scorpio, I think y'all are finally figuring out your magnetism. I think y'all are finally figuring out like why people are drawn to you and why you're drawn to people. I think this full moon is like showing you like, hey, you're drawn to people because if they're like, hey, are we about to get it on? You're like, yes. And I know some of y'all aren't particularly the sultry side of Scorpio. So even when in your circumstances, this is like y'all stepping into the situation to where like they thought you couldn't pull it off, Scorpio. That's the best way to put it. They thought you couldn't pull it off, but you pulled it off. But here's the other part of it. You're going to have to grind for it though, right? I've been listening to an obnoxious amount of Future in the last bit. It has saved me so much. Shout out to Plutowski. But the reason why I do is because like everything, like Plutowski is an excellent song. The reason why I enjoy it so much is because it sounds like what it feels like to come up from the bottom, work your way to the top, and then like done. But like it's only good when you're like, oh shoot, they're coming from they're starting from the bottom. Okay, boom, boom, right. Like you're feeling the vibe. Scorpio, this is your coming up story. This is your grind to shine era, I would even say. So yes, the thing that you saw is correct. The thing that you saw is already yours, but you're going to have to be doing more of the leg work than usual. Sometimes Scorpio likes to play the shadows. You might have to be in the front a little bit more. You might have to be more consistent than you're used to, which is okay, because it's not going to be taken for granted, which is, I know it's a fear, y'all. So it's not going to be taken for granted. You're going to be good. That's all I got to say. I'm going to leave it there. Oh, I missed somebody. I went to Scorpio and I missed Taurus. I apologize, Taurus. Shout out to Tauruses. Shout out to the Taurus people of the chat. Yeah, love y'all. For real, I got some like really diehard Taurus fans. I don't know where y'all came from for real. I didn't even think Taurus is rock with me for real. I think it was just like I just started really doing my dancing, and Taurus just started really showing love, and I was like, am I him? Good to know. So shout out to the Tauruses, right? Okay. Let's get to this bag, this bread, you know what I'm saying? Let's get it. Taurus. Oh, Taurus. Oh, darn. Okay, love y'all though. So you have the death card underneath here. And this is the death of you staying in your way. I love y'all stubborn, beautiful people. But y'all stubborn. And then y'all beautiful, so y'all double stubborn. But that being said, this death card is trying to get you out of your own way of what you thought you had to be. This is similar to Cancer. I'm gonna be honest, right? I'm gonna get to Pisces, and I got you. We're gonna get there. I got you. I ain't forget. I just went backwards on both of them for a second. I will make sure to get there, I promise. But when it does come to Taurus, right? It's the death of like the older part of what you thought you had to bring about. It's very similar to Cancer at this part, because we have the two of Pentacles here. And so Taurus, you're not having to make a decision the way you think you do. You're having to it's almost like Taurus, y'all have to detox. I don't know what that means right now. I'm just going through with it. Y'all have to detox the old positioning and the old things that you kind of structured up in order to survive a certain way, because the next part of your world doesn't have to do with survival. It has to do with thriving. But I don't think you're used to the way that you're about to thrive yet. And so when you even, let's say you get all the money you've been aiming for, you're like, oh, I have the money. What do I do with this? Do I spend it on myself? Do I invest? I did like that purse I saw in the Chanel bag. No, I should spend this on something else. Actually, this new restaurant open and it looks banging. No. It's invest. Like there's almost like this abundance wave that's coming through. Yeah, it's this abundance wave that's coming through, but you kind of gotta like stick to the core basics. Although you're getting a big change energetically, you still gotta have to keep to the core part of things. So it's not like, hey, let's say you got all that money, right? I remember how I was talking about 50 mil earlier. Let's say you get handed the 50 mil. You don't have to change your lifestyle the way it is, but you have to change the emotive part of it. You get what I'm saying? Like you don't even have to you don't have to go buy that new house. You don't have to do that. You can stay in the same thing. I like what I have. Cool. Maybe you should get like some more stuff. Maybe you could flourish on what you already have. But it's not like you're trying to do something entirely new, but there's a metamorphosis that's emotional, that's intangible, that's happening for y'all Taurus. And I know y'all don't even know how to explain it, because y'all are just like, like there is a change happening. You are not incorrect. So I just wanted to kind of like give y'all some understanding of that too, and not to shy away from it. It is an important part of the change. So I hope that helps. Okay, I'm gonna go to Pisces first. I made a promise, so I was gonna do Pisces. So let me make sure I do Pisces done. If Virgo, y'all are last, I apologize. But let's get it. So for Pisces, okay, for Pisces, let's get it. All right, for Pisces, right? Y'all got the two of why is this popping up? So for Pisces, Cancer, I'm gonna go with it, because like for Pisces, Cancer, and Taurus, y'all all have this like limbo stage energies that are coming through. But then again, Pisces at the bottom of the deck, you have the King of Pentacles. So Pisces, I feel like y'all are set up to have everything that you need. But because you finally start to have everything you need, you're like, well, what about that thing that I needed before? It's like, you didn't even want that thing. It's like, well, like, what about it though? Like, I feel like Pisces, y'all are kind of second guessing what you've already manifested, even though it's already got to you. And it's not that you're even questioning the manifestation. It's just different than the way that you're used to just pulling things out the ether on a whim. Y'all are so funny. I love y'all, but talking to Pisces, I'm always like, and I'm a Sag. So if I'm looking at y'all like, I respect it. Speaking of Pisces, you gotta walk away from the BS. Like literally, Pisces, that one. Pisces, y'all got some toxic friend or old lover or something else y'all been holding a candle to. I know a Pisces that be sending letters to people. I yell at her about it just in jest when I'm like, why are you sending letters to someone you don't even like anymore? They're like, because letters are nice and they're pretty and they're cute. It's like, do you think they might get the wrong impression? They're like, no, it's love. Listen, I love y'all. But genuinely speaking, there is this part to like walking away from those situations that you know that you might still hold a candle to or might still hold a candle to you. It's like really just like letting that phase out and fizzle out, because the next thing that's coming through is a part you can't see from the universe because you're juggling that in between. So the minute that you're like, let me let this go, see what happens next, that's when the rest of the abundance that you know is coming through gets to fully come through. I hope that helps, that it's direct as best as I can. So I hope that works. Okay. So that was for y'all, Pisces. That's what I got. I'm gonna keep it short, simple, and sweet. I think that's what I got, right? And shout out to all y'all who have hit the like button so far. Shout out to all y'all who have commented stuff. Like y'all are great, right? As a matter of fact, anyone in this live stream, if you could just do me a favor and just comment something over on the YouTube side. I don't know if y'all can right now, but if you can comment like fully on it, that helps out so much and allows the, I don't even want to say the algorithm because that sounds stupid at this point, but it just lets people find it. The more people are commenting, they're like, people like this thing, because not everybody can always see the live chat, and I don't think the live chat counts for YouTube in the grand scale. So that would just help. Speaking of those details, let's get into Virgo. Virgo, for you, let's get into what this part is, right? Jesse said, been telling your friend to chill before he gets some. That part. Did you see my last meme I put out? You should see my last meme I put out when you get a chance. You should go check it out. It's on Instagram. Anyway, or the second to last meme was the one with the Flintstones. You might appreciate that. Okay. Virgo, this is for y'all. I have 2 cards. Okay, Virgo. Oh, Virgo. Let me stop. Virgo. We have the Knight of Cups. Do you have a suitor coming through, Virgo? Do you have a classical suitor that's about to pull up? I was listening to a song the other day and the dude was like something because she's a Virgo. And I was like, oh, it just, for me, it was like, it reminded me of the more romantic side of Virgo, right? Which is not necessarily always like romantic and showing as much as it's about just being there for a person, right? Being consistent, being there on a daily measure if possible, right? What this, dropped some stuff again, but that's okay. So the Knight of Cups is like, I think y'all are getting like a suitor type deal. I ain't gonna lie, y'all getting a suitor. And suitor is a very specific word. It's a very specific word. I don't. Virgo, someone's about to come in trying to hit you with the moves. I'm not gonna lie, they're trying to hit you with the moves. You got the Page of Wands too. They're like, so what up with it though? And I promise you, Virgo, the more in the back of your head, y'all are like, no. The more fun is low-key gonna be once it starts to pull through, because the Fool card is like, you don't know what you don't know what you think you know. And Virgo, y'all be getting so up your own sometimes, and y'all know y'all do. Y'all can't even see when like love, life, or like a good thing's in front of you more than half the time. And so it takes me to have to be like, it's a good thing. Stop tripping. And y'all to be like, leave me alone. You're a Sag. What do you know? And me being like, literally just stop tripping. And then you do. And then things happen, right? But genuinely, heart in the streets, we really burning rubber. Oh my God, yeah, that's Virgo. But like the idea though, genuinely, right, is that like the Fool card is trying to show you that like, you want to know what it is, Virgo? Y'all think you know what love is. You don't. And I'm not saying that you never experienced it. But the Fool card portion of this is going to start to like dismantle your BS in certain ways. Like all the BS layers that you have, you're like, well, they have to have this amount of money, and they have to have this car, and they have to look like this, and they have to smell like my favorite scent, and they have to end up doing this, and they all have to know this before they meet me, talk to me, understand me, go out with me, or anything else like that. Before they even get a handhold, they need to know all this stuff. Virgo, you about to get out your own way and finally fall for the thing that you need to fall for, or you're not going to, but you should. Because I think the control factor that's coming through with y'all in your mind, so to speak, isn't going to fly as we enter into this Aquarius age, Virgo. I'm going to be honest with you, right? All the stuff you think you have to uphold. Let me put it like this. Virgo, if you're expecting someone to hold up a lifestyle that you can't hold on your own to, stop expecting that lifestyle when you can't meet up to that. That doesn't mean you will never be able to. I'm just letting you know that like you need to open your eyes and space to the reality of what's in front of you. Because meanwhile, while you're like, I need millions of dollars before I get love, there might be someone who's like willing to love you when you don't have a penny in your pocket, right in front of you, willing to work out all the real things and the real kinks of life right there for you. And I hope that this y'all get this and hear me, because I'm not trying to be condescending about this at all. Like this could be for job, this could be for that. The Fool card is really that card. The Fool card is the Joker card in the playing card deck, right? So you have a lot of room to like be free. So love is patient, love is kind, but love is also free. So when you free yourself from your own expectations a little bit more, this full moon in Aries is going to actually have you meet your match that's willing to meet you in those places and spaces, even if they don't have it all together packaged on a resume for you first. Okay. Shout out to James. James said he's a Virgo sun and the soulmate just came into illumination. This is why they pay me the big bucks. No, nah, but for real, I appreciate the confirmation and I appreciate the love. And shout out to each and every one of you who've been here, came through, rock with me this full moon in Aries. I wanted to go off and dive in on some just like, here's what that is, you know. Show them who you are. Remember who you are, right? The most tapped in part to the Lion King that I remember is Rafiki smacking Simba on the head with a stick, being like, remember who you are. And then he did. And as soon as he remembered who he was, and he did some work in between, like reclaiming a nation, but hey, whatever, he still did it. And then in that remembrance, he got to finally become king, because he was always king, even though he was avoiding the throne. That was still his right to do. So you can Hakuna Matata all you want, but at a certain point, things gotta matter. Hakuna Matata, now things gotta matter. Stigmata. I was about to start rapping and I decided not to. I'm tired now. But I wanted to at least come through, give y'all the realest and rawest breakdown of the full moon in Aries that you're going to find. And I wanted to make sure that I did it for the people. And I love y'all. You know, no, it's been really just, it's an honor to do what I do and to let y'all like experience certain things with me or watch y'all like go through along the way, you know, and I get to watch y'all grow too. Like I'll follow y'all, like, you know what I'm saying? For the homies that I know and see, like I do my best to like stories and like show love when I can or throw a comment out or something like that. Cause like none of this social media hype means anything to me. The people that I actually interact with mean more to me, and like y'all coming through these live streams and those 50 viewers that I get every time, y'all mean a lot to me. And the people that talk to me or like they see me post something and they're like, are you actually good? And I'll be like, yes, but also, right? But like just all those interactions just mean a lot, because at the end of the day, the astrology is to remind us of the stars that we are, so we can live our human experience to the highest part that we can. We are able to create the magic in the world that we've always seen as fiction. It's not fiction. but don't let them trick you out of your magic, which is you. That's what the full moon in Aries gonna remind you anyway. So I don't even gotta do that. Shoot, y'all gonna find out. I don't even gotta do nothing else. But for real, much love to y'all. Hold on, people. Whoa, deep. That's what she said. Anyway. I'm sorry. I gotta go. See, I'm getting tired now. Anyway. Professionalism slowly melting away. But thank you so much for the live. Thank y'all for being here for real. So much gratitude back to y'all. What you mean? As soon as Pluto went direct, the soulmate situation happened. You might be on to something. I'm gonna talk about Pluto in Aquarius sometime soon because Pluto goes back in Aquarius next month, right? I'm gonna figure out what I want to do with that. I want to do something special for y'all. And I have already talked about Pluto in Aquarius before. As a matter of fact, I will find that just to show y'all. You should check that out because I call a lot of stuff. It's like an age of Aquarius. If I just put in age of Aquarius in chat, do I pop up? Oh, I do. I'm him. Let's go. Anyway, sorry. I've been working on this for a long time. So if you want to see awkward me figuring stuff out, I apologize for the old audio quality. It's been a journey. But if you want to get some info, just to give y'all that link, this is what I did a year ago. And I was saying, what does the age Aquarius mean for humanity? And I went through all of 2023, all the way up to 2024. And then I'm going to resume this kind of from the last place I start. I'm going to rewatch this before I hop in just to be like, haha, I told you so. But then afterward, I'm going to be doing another live stream specifically on Pluto and Aquarius. So make sure y'all tune in for that. Aside from that, much love to y'all. Grab a mini reading. Get a real full reading if you have the means to, because like I make sure you have more than your money's worth anytime you do that. I really just, we going in, you know what I'm saying? Regardless, much love to you all. Stay beautiful, and I'm gonna play some song as I end up leaving. I'm just kidding. All right, y'all have a good one. Okay, bye.